I'm in Kingussie, the ancient capital of Badenoch in the Cairngorms National Park. Kingussie is of course the home of Kingussie Camanachd Club, the most successful sporting club in the world according to the Guinness Book of Records. And of course I'm talking about shinty, not football. But one thing Kingussie hasn't had, and that's somewhere to park your camper van overnight. At least not until now. Kingussie is home to Scotland's newest campervan and motorhome Aire. The brand new facility is at Croila Croft, home to Highland horse fun and pony riding stables, run by local crofter and breeder of Highland ponies, Ruaridh Ormiston. I went along to see Ruaridh and asked him first of all to tell me a wee bit about Kingussie.
Kingussie is the capital of Badenoch, and it was known as the borough of Kingussie because the borough council that ran the area was based here. I think it was founded about 1850 or 1840, and it was founded by the Duke of Gordon as a mill town using the power of the River Gynech. And before that everybody lived more over the Ruthven area. But yeah, it's a very historic town and it's got an awful lot to offer.
Can you tell me some of the things that you can do here?
There's the Clan Macpherson Museum in Newtonmore, which is 3 miles away. There's the Highland Folk Museum in Newtonmore, which is just 2 miles away, and that's, you know, a premier Scottish visitor attraction. We've got the Highland Wildlife Park, which is 6 miles the other way. We've got Ruthven Barracks, which is a mile.
What was I saying? Never work with animals and children.
You yourself. Right, you come round here till we hold you. I'll put your rope under my armpit. Here, Rusty, get up here. Rusty, come on. We've got Ruthven Barracks, which was a redcoat fort, which was built after the first Jacobite rebellion and burnt down during the second Jacobite rebellion. And it has fantastic interpretation, views and everything to walk. You can spend over an hour there and it's completely free. There's so many low-level walks, cycle routes. We're on 3 significant national trails. We're on the East Highland Way, we're on your own Cameron's Scotland's National Trail, we're on the Speyside Way, the Badenoch Way. There's fishing. We have our own fishing here so we can let people fish. We've got the horse riding centre.
You can let people fish in the Spey?
I can let people. I've got half a mile.
Oh, that's an attraction in itself.
I've got half a mile of the Spey, and
wow.
We've got the beach down there, and we've got another area where we can let people who specifically want to fish stay. We've got the horse riding. We've got our croft here where we've got indigenous Highland ponies, Highland cattle. The ponies have got foals, the cows have got calves, and you know, if I've got time I can take people around and show them those things. But the village is fantastic. I mean, the shops in the village are fantastic.
Plenty of coffee shops.
Plenty of coffee shops. There's a Chinese, there's a fish and chip shop, there's a small supermarket. Everything's here.
Okay, tell me a wee bit about the history of the croft here, Croila Croft.
This ground on both sides of the railway here that we have was my great grandfather, Jock Dallas, who's the man on top of the Shinty Camanachd Cap, and it was kind of passed down the family to my grandfather, who married his daughter, and then to my father, and then to myself. But we were only tenants here of Doch Fur Estates, which was Lord Burton. But when Lord Burton passed away, his son Alexander gave us the opportunity to buy it. And I was also able to buy some other bits of ground that were neighbouring me that other tenants didn't want to buy. But the reason I call it Croila Croft is my father's stud name for the Highland ponies was Croila, which is a hill we can see to the south of us here that's a corbett. And on that, in the stone formations, there's a horse in the rock scree that you can see from miles away that looks like the Ford Mustang logo. And it's a significant landmark that not many people know about. And because we can see it everywhere from basically the fields that I've bought, then I've called it Croila Croft.
What made you think of turning part of your croft here into a campsite and Aire?
Our family's been involved in tourism for 3 generations, and I've always wanted to have a caravan site, and for 15 or 20 years I just kept running up against brick walls when trying to find out how you got permission, what you were allowed to do. And this year I applied myself and went for a certified location. But since then, the whole, I didn't know what an Aire was, but in doing my investigations I discovered what an Aire was and started to read up on it and found the campaign for real Aires, and I started working on that. My friend Holly Phillip along at Tire at Kyle was 2 or 3 months ahead of me with all the information, and she passed it on to me, and I went down the Aire route, but for the yard beside the stables because it was hard standing, and all of a sudden Highland Council offered the exemption certificate, which I think was only 2 weeks ago, and we really got into gear then, applied for that as well. So we've 2 sort of legal entities here as far as planning is concerned. That's a certified location for 5 vans and the Aire for 8. But under the caravan site law of 1960, as a farmer crofter, I'm allowed to have a pop-up campsite in the summertime. I'm allowed to have up to 3 vans on other parts, because it's not just one holding, it's several holdings that were bought at different times. So we've got a lot of flexibility, and people are desperate. Other campsites are turning them away because they're fully booked, and I haven't turned anyone away yet, and that day might come, but for the time being I'm saying roll up and we'll try and find you somewhere.
And how easy was it at the end of the day to actually get started up?
Once I'd worked out the certified location thing, that was reasonably easy. It took a little bit of time, it took over a month, but we got there, and basically you apply to one of the clubs, they check with Highland Council that they've got no objections, and then you get a licence and then you can open. So that's for the 5 vans down here. The Motorhome Aire was a case of filling out a form and sending a map to Highland Council, because they've offered this exemption for Aires this year because of the sort of crisis situation we're in. It's almost like a war footing, trying to help all these people with nowhere to stay. And at the same time we put in the service point for visiting motorhomes so that they can come in and pick up water and drop their grey and black waste. And there was even an offer of a grant, so we got, I think it was a £500 grant from Highland Council to make that available. It only paid for a little bit of what the materials that we bought, but at least it was a help.
So was the council fairly helpful?
The council were very helpful. Highland Council have also obviously identified that there is a major problem, and they're now bending over backwards to try and get people with facilities to open. And it is one of the main reasons that I've done the Aire, because being involved in the tourist trade and being a proud Highlander, I don't want people to come up here and get the wrong impression that they're being chased away, there's nowhere to stay. So I'm just trying to facilitate things so that they have a good holiday and they have somewhere safe and comfortable to park up or to camp.
I'm kind of getting the impression that there wasn't a lot of advice available to you when you decided to do this. Now, where have you got your advice from?
The craziest thing is there's very little advice. It's almost impossible to find. As I say, I've been trying for 15 years just to find out how to set up a certified location, and probably I didn't apply myself enough, but planning and people like that weren't forthcoming. Nobody mentioned to me the 1960 Caravan Site Act until I started the certified location thing. But the person that helped me the most was my good friend Holly Phillip, that breeds Highland ponies as well, and as I say, she was 2 or 3 months ahead of me in the game, and she passed all the information to me. But really, that information should be available to everybody online. You know, there's a letter from the Chief Planner of Scotland saying that enforcement action won't be taken this year for businesses that are trying to welcome tourists or trying to recover from the pandemic. The communication needs to be improved. In fact, I talked to Holly a couple of days ago, and there's a few other people have approached her wanting to start airs. But Holly shouldn't have to be giving them the advice. The advice should be there, and Highland Council have done very well, but they could do a little bit more. Maybe Holly could do a leaflet for them, and they could commission her to.
And how about the campaign for Real Airs? I mean, it's a fairly new organisation, and they seem to have done an awful lot in a short time.
As soon as Holly put me on to them, the help was absolutely amazing. Just joining their forum on Facebook to learn what an air is and the issues that people are suffering, the campaigns that they've got going to approach people at the National Trust, Highland Council, Forestry Commission, and there's a lady there, Meg MacDonald, who got in touch directly with me, and she was able to give me an awful lot of advice as well. And she's since been and she's visited us as well, and gave me comments and things that I could do or things I didn't have to do. So yeah, the campaign for Real Airs has been fantastic.
What's your vision for here? How do you see the whole thing evolving?
I mean, we've just done the basics that we need to get going and to be able to welcome people. I've got a tourist business there, I've got the riding centre, and we do carriage driving and carriage trips and things. I see this complementing that. For the coming year, I'm definitely going to head down the hookup route for certified locations. About, I would say, 30% of the people that are coming at the moment are asking for hookups. We didn't have the time or the money to do it right now, and we would need planning for that as well, so that would delay things by months. So we hope to do hookups down in the field here for the certified location. We'll probably do hookups in the yard as well for the air. I know that a lot of airs, a lot of people don't need them in the air, but there are people that want to charge up, use their mobile phones, lights at night and things. So we will improve things, and I mean, I see it really benefiting the village. If we've got 11 motorhomes and 5 caravans, that's 16, and you could say an average of 2 to 3 in each one. That's another almost 40 people staying in the village every night, and they shop, they eat out, they go and do local attractions, and they just add to the general buzz of things here during the summertime.
Great. Now, what about the practicalities? How much to stay? How long can you stay? And will you be open all year round?
I'm still learning, so at the moment it's an experiment. I bought a caravan for my brother last year and fully intended to go touring myself to do as much learning as I could before I started down this journey. I didn't have time, but for the time being I've looked at what everybody else is doing, and we're simply £10 to stay in the air. If you come off the road to do a service stop, it's £5. But very, very quickly I realised that people were asking for toilets. Some of the motorhomes, but because we were also taking tents and stuff, the toilet thing's kind of essential. But luckily I had portaloos, so I've got the portaloos up and running. We've got a toilet block as well, but it needs a bit of work. But you need to charge a bit extra to cover the cost of that. To empty a toilet is £25 plus VAT. So there's 3 there. You're looking at, I don't know, £100 every time they come in to service that, and that could be every 2 weeks. So we need to charge a little bit extra for that. So what I've done is I've added £5 on. If you're staying in the air but you need to use the toilets, then it's £15 a night. Again, if you're a tent, it's going to be £15 a night. And for the certified location site, because you've got more room and you're in grass and it's a little bit nicer, then we're going with 15 for that. But if you're a Motor Caravanners Club member, we're just leaving it at 10. So I'm very much learning just now. I don't want to kill the thing right away, and I won't put my prices up until I can justify it or learn that I've undersold myself.
And how long can I stay?
I'm not that bothered, to be honest. I mean, normally in an Aire, some people are saying maximum of 2 nights. For the certified location site, there isn't really, I think it's maybe 28 days or something. But for the Aire, unless we get really, really busy and we've got a queue up the road, then I'm not going to limit it. And as I say, because I've got several holdings together here in the village and other places for people to park up, I've got another 3 other places on top of these ones, one by the river, one down by the beach, and one at other stables opposite the high school, which we've done hard standings and everything in, just because we needed it for our own access. Then I don't see me turning anyone away or throwing people out unless it's for antisocial behaviour.
Mm-hmm. And can I come here in January and February and go skiing?
Definitely, yeah. You won't be able to stay in the grass fields, but you'll be able to come and stay in the hard standing areas. And, you know, who knows if it's a real success by then, and I think it warranted, and I could be bothered speaking to planning, then I may put electrical hookups in by the winter time so that people can come in their vans and they can be comfortable. Okay. But yeah, we'll be open all year.
Good. Finally, tell me the name of your dog and your goat.
This is Rusty Russell.
Rusty Russell.
He works in the front of the house at the riding centre and welcomes everybody and does tricks for the children. And this is Goaty McGoatface, who's a wild goat from Craigdoo, and he was attacked by a dog and nearly died. He was paralysed for 2 days when we first got him, but as you can see, he's made a remarkable recovery, and this is his first day at work. So he'll be joining the front of house team as well, guest relations.